All of it. Okay, so, in this, no way I'm paying for $80 games when there are better games out there with more content that came out for far less. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a good way to, it's not a bad way to look at things. The unfortunate thing is, it's just like with FIFA, the vast majority of people who buy games who are like my age, like they don't know anything about the gaming industry. The vast majority of them don't know the fuck what's going on, which is why the fucking dudes who are my age who play FIFA, they play it and then they buy all the packs and they don't care about the microtransactions. They don't understand that it's destroying the gaming industry, that it's ruining children and all this other bullshit. They don't know or care. They got too much other shit in their lives, like kids, jobs, fucking mortgage, the whole nine. And so is the entire gaming sphere shifting? Yes, because people are finding out more and more about this. And when you see a game like Expedition 33, Elden Ring, I haven't seen Split Fiction, Hollow Knight, I know that's pretty good. Hades, another good game. I haven't played either one of them, but I saw the gameplay. It looks amazing, right? It's just not my kind of game, right? Not right now, anyway. And these games gives you so much value, right? For so little money in compared to $100 games that are coming out, right? Like I paid, and like Space Marine is another great example. It's only $60. And it's an amazing game with tons of content. I go back and play it. I still do. And I plan on playing it again soon. I might play it today instead of Last Epoch. I don't know. I'm probably just going to play Last Epoch because I want to finish my build and do all that shit. But the point is you get, and then like you can add Last Epoch, Path of Exile 2 to this list, right? How much gameplay, how much game do you get for your money? Well, it's $30 to get into Path of Exile early access, and it'll be free when it releases. Last Epoch is, I think, $30 to get in, and then you get the game for free forever with continuous updates. And the only thing they have are microtransactions for cosmetics. That's it. Which, by the way, I bought because they made such a good game. I wanted to give them more money. Fuck, man. Like it's crazy. It's crazy, baby. And with these, and the thing about it is Nintendo, Xbox, they're still going to be able to sell their shit. Like people don't understand. There are people who are suckers for this shit. Like I'm one of them. When Diablo 4 came out, I paid $100 to play the early access or the beta or whatever the fuck it was called. Why did I do that? Because it was my birthday. And I love Diablo. I loved Diablo 2. I had a lot of fun with Diablo 3, though I didn't like it as much. And it looked like Diablo was going back to its roots, which it did not. But it still looked like it. And the campaign and the story were really, really good. I really liked them. But it was still $100 fucking dollars. Because they want to gouge as much money out of me as possible, which is fine. And I knew what was going on. I knew it was happening, and I still did it because I wanted it. Right? It was my birthday. I wanted to play Diablo on my birthday, and I did. And I got really drunk, and it was a lot of fun. And now we're at a point where the entire there's going to be a gigantic fucking split in the gaming industry where there are going to be these AAA behemoths that are charging all this extra money for all of their games that some of them don't have that much content to begin with. And then all the content they add, you're just gonna have to buy more and more of it. So you're gonna end up spending hundreds of dollars on these games and systems when you've got great games that are $15, $25, $50, $60. Elden Ring is probably one of the best fucking open world games I have ever played in my life. It is right up there, dude. Right up there. There's just so much to the world, and it's not. And I was one of the people who literally rubbed my face against everything. And to be fair, it does have its faults, right? It's very repetitive in some areas, and it's not meant to be played like I play it. It's not meant to be played like I play open world games, where I want to rub my face against all the walls to see what everything is out there. It's meant to be an adventure in a pseudo open world, and the reason I say pseudo is because it doesn't go on forever. Where you're not meant to go see every bit of it. You're meant to go off the beaten path, have an adventure, and then get back on the path. Oh, and then 5 minutes later, you get distracted and go off on a little adventure, and then you get back on the path, right? It's not meant for you to go off on an adventure and spend 5 hours going off and finding every little thing in that area, right? Like I did. That was what I did. And they are going to vote with your money. That's it. And more people are. This is why Assassin's Creed, the latest thing, is going to it really is going to shift the industry. Now, that doesn't mean that EA is not going to. Yeah, this is the thing I've been talking about. That's why it's gotten to this point. Look how much money EA made with FIFA on microtransactions. And Mario Kart World will be one of the top 3 best sellers in 2025. Yeah. I bought a Switch 1 last year because I was dying to play Mario Kart with my daughter. Yep. And I ended up buying 2 of them. I got her own handheld, and I bought one for the family TV. I got it pretty cheap too, so I'm not a big Nintendo cuck anymore. I haven't played Nintendo regularly since the Super Nintendo, so it's just been the way it is. I got Duke Nukem, man. You know what I'm saying? I got rock and roll and heavy metal, and so I got away from the carnival music. But it is one of these deals where it's shit like this that has made all these companies want to just microtransaction out their games, is because of the thing that EA did with FIFA. The problem is that FIFA is not a gigantic brand because FIFA is a gigantic brand. FIFA is a gigantic brand, or because it's a good game or any of that other shit. FIFA is a gigantic brand because fucking soccer is a world famous sport. Everybody on the planet plays the goddamn thing. Even here in the United States, we play it. And so you have a gigantic user base all over the world who love soccer and love all the players that are in soccer and all this other bullshit, and they eat it up just like Americans do with their football games. It's the same fucking deal. And so a lot of these people aren't necessarily normal gamers. A lot of them are just, they game when they got time, and they like to play sports games because they like sports, right? So maybe they'll play Call of Duty, maybe they'll play Halo, or maybe they used to play Halo. But the vast majority of people who do this kind of thing, they play FIFA because it's FIFA, because they like soccer. And those are the games they play. And so they spend a lot of money on it, because they're not going to buy, all of this and spend all that money. They're going to spend all that money on FIFA because FIFA's fun and they like soccer. And they don't care about all this microtransaction shit. And I heard that EA lost its deal with FIFA to use their name. So EA might be falling off a fucking cliff with FIFA. And I would be happy if EA collapsed in on itself. The only problem is that Microsoft will probably end up buying it out or some dumb shit like that, or Tencent. I hate the fact that we're it's just like with movies and Disney. I hate the fact that our culture gets conglomerated into a bunch of stuffy suits who basically get to own the copyright to our culture. And I despise it. Like, Disney should not have control over Mickey Mouse at this point. It should not. Mickey Mouse should be a free domain at this point. Mickey Mouse is motherfucking was invented in like the 1920s. It's over 100 years old. They need to let it the fuck go. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. They need to lose it, because this is why copyright. This is why so many people hate copyright, and why we're gonna lose IP if we keep going this route, because these giant fucking megacorps are gonna buy up all of our culture and then charge us to have access to it, and charge us extreme amounts of fees to have access to it, right? Because you could understand if it was like, okay, look, yeah, we own it, but we understand it's a cultural thing and it's yours. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it super easy for everybody to access. We're going to sell licenses. We're going to sell merch for fairly cheap. So that way you can enjoy your culture and we get paid for owning it. Easy peasy, right? But no, they're greedy assholes. So, it's $50 for a Mickey Mouse doll. And, if you want to buy the Mickey Mouse Funhouse Club seasons, they're like $30 a piece. A season. And it's because they know people will pay it. Because there are a lot of rich motherfuckers out there, or motherfuckers who got like more money than sense, who will absolutely buy that shit so their kids can watch it. I was tempted to. Let's just say that my kids watch whatever they want. Or let me rephrase. The stuff that my kids like Sesame Street and Mickey Mouse and stuff like that, they go watch it all the time. And no, I don't pay Disney for it. Because fuck you, Disney. And they can fuck right off. And what I don't want is the same thing to happen to video games, where all of the cool and that's essentially what's happened already, and why all of the games we loved as kids are shit today is because megacorps bought our culture, and now they're exploiting it for money, and they're making it shit in the process. And that's why you like Halo and Diablo and StarCraft and just all of these, you know, things owned by Blizzard, things owned by fucking EA, why they all suck now is because they just want to exploit you for money. They don't care about making good games. They want to make money. These are two different things. They're not diametrically opposed, but they are two different things. And they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about our mutual culture and the shared experiences we have growing up playing Diablo 2 or whatever. They only care about making fucking money. That's it. And they will absolutely exploit you and me to do that. Hands down, no question. They will. And the proof is in the pudding. It absolutely is. Because if that weren't the case, then Assassin's Creed wouldn't have been the shit it has been for the past years. Ubisoft wouldn't have turned into whatever the fuck it is, where basically everybody could make fun of them because of how good Elden Ring did. Especially when you have developers from like Assassin's Creed and all these other fucking Ubisoft games bitching about how Elden Ring's UI is all fucked up. And it's like, yeah, but why is everybody playing Elden Ring and not your slop? Oh, yeah, because the UI actually doesn't matter and it's actually gameplay. And we can actually deal with obtuse UIs if the gameplay is good enough. And it actually like adds a little bit of charm to it because it's different. And they don't understand that. They don't understand that at all. And it's just mind-boggling that they don't. But on the other hand, it's a blinder. So, you know, it's understandable we all have our biases. And so I really do think that companies like Disney need to lose all of their IPs that are over 80 years old. Like, if I made a thing, I would want to earn money from it. If I drew a character and made a cartoon and it got popular, I would want to be paid for it. But if a megacorp buys it from me, they should not be able to maintain rights on it forever. Right? If the year is 3000 AD, Disney should not have IP rights to Mickey Mouse anymore. Period. It doesn't matter how many fucking Mickey Mouse movies they made to resecure their IP. No. It should go to the public domain because it's part of our culture. Almost everybody knows who Mickey Mouse is, right? It's just like Santa Claus. Anybody can make a Santa Claus thing. Nobody owns that, right? Now, to be fair, it has been part of our culture for a lot longer, but it is one of these things that's like, you shouldn't be able to lock our culture behind a paywall forever. Right? Initially, sure, I'm 100% okay with that, right? It's just like Power Rangers stuff, right? We all grew up watching the Power Rangers, but by the time I'm 80, if a megacorp owns the rights to it, it should go into the public domain. If it's still owned by a singular person, then that might be different, right? Like I could understand graduating or grandfathering in like the Tolkien estate, where Tolkien left the rights of his shit to his children and stuff. And I can understand that more. I would be more okay with that specifically, where an estate owns an IP and its rights rather than a megacorp. As long as that estate is like privately held and not some kind of fucking mega conglomerate thing, right? I know it's a bit iffy and it's a bit weird and I'm making exceptions, but that's because if you look at the Tolkien estate, they actually give a fuck about the Tolkienian lore and all that stuff, right? And so when you it's more likely to be cared about by people who have a vested interest in it, right? Anyway, I do hope there's a reckoning coming, and there probably is going to be. I think AAA is going to crash and burn because, a lot of AAA is going to crash and burn. You know, we're probably still going to have. A bit loud, isn't it? We're probably still going to have the Nintendo and a few others charging astronomically absurd shit for their games, and they'll win. And Nintendo can do that because they are a brand that has built so much fucking loyalty, it just will not die. Not from me, but from the Nintendo cucks that buy all that shit. And the same with a few others, right? With Sony and even Xbox. Xbox less so, but that's beside the point. And so as more and more people get the ability to make better and better games, people with actual talent and drive who want to make good games for good game's sake, this is what will happen. And a lot of the AAA companies that are basically just money-making machines, but they don't make anything but slop, they're the ones that are going to fall off the rails. While the AAA companies who are making relatively good games can charge that super premium price, and some people will pay it, and it'll be enough to keep them afloat and making a lot of money. Whereas I think a lot of the gaming industry is going toward AA because they can make games that are good with good content for the money. Because even if you have a lot of money, do you really want to just waste it on slop? Or do you want to get something that's really good that might not be like, mainstream? And it really does suck because imagine if somebody else could make Star Trek games or make Halo games or things like that, you would have a lot better games. You would. Because there are people with real talent who have a real love for those franchises that would absolutely BTFO the people that are making it. They would. I mean, just think about it like this. If you know how passionate I am about Star Trek. If I were involved in a video game that about Star Trek, like it would be my dream to be involved in any way in any of this. Simply due to the fact that I absolutely love Star Trek. I'm an adoring fan as much as I hate what the new stuff. A lot of what the new stuff is. It's still something very precious to me. And it really came out when I played Star Trek Resurgence. Like, it was magnificent. Like, yes, of course it has its flaws, but it doesn't matter. The flaws give it texture and I don't even know how to articulate it, right? I just don't give a fuck about its flaws. They're there, I know them, and they're kind of funny on one hand and annoying on another, but I don't give a fuck. Because the game evoked so much passion and emotion from me for making the decisions that Starfleet officers make. Like, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. Do I save, 10 billion Taconians who are in stasis, or do I blow them up so they can't be used as a weapon against us? Like, that is peak fucking Star Trek right there. Oh my God. And so if I were involved in a game like that, I would pour my heart into it. My heart and soul, and I would try to make it the best damn game I possibly could, because I could not take something that I love so much and put out a piece of art or a game or something like that and it'd be shit. I couldn't do that. It would break my heart. It would break my heart. I would rather leave and stop and resign or whatever than be part of a project to make a Star Trek game and it'd be shit. I'd just leave. That's what I'd rather do that. I wouldn't want to be a part of it. And I tell you, man, Star Trek Resurgence, dude, it lit a fire under my ass, dude. Please make another game. Please. For God's sakes, make fucking 10 of them. I will give you my money. Charge me more money next time. I got it as a gift. I'll buy fucking 4 of them. I swear to God. I want more of it. If they make another game, I will buy it and I will give away keys. I cannot. Oh, like it stirs my emotions so much it's hard for me to speak articulately while I'm doing it. So I have a lot of passion for Star Trek, and it's one of the reasons why I started doing this. Where is it? Do I not? Ah, here it is. Well, I started doing this. Oh. Not like I don't think it'll ever come to fruition. But it's one of these things where I can't stop thinking about it. So I needed to write it down. And it's just a passion project for just like, I want to make an extraction shooter game in the Star Trek universe. Because I read one of the books, that's one of the best books in Star Trek I've ever read, is based on a graveyard, on a ship graveyard battle site, and how like all kinds of anomalies and all this other bullshit is all around, and there's this huge fucking story, but there's this underlying story where there are all these pirates operating in the boneyard that are juxtaposed to the Federation, and from, you know, not only recapturing their technology, but also keeping it out of the hands of the pirates. And so there's all these ships that have all this dangerous weaponry systems, all this stuff, and the pirates are trying to, you know, snatch it all, including stuff, you know, and there's every species in the fucking quadrant is in this graveyard. Romulans, Klingons, Federation, Breen, Cardassian. I think there's even a couple Bolian ships. There's Vulcan ships. There's fucking Tellarite, Andorian. You name the fucking species, and there's probably a fucking ship there. I know there's Gorn ships there. I'm pretty sure there's Ferengi ships there. On both sides, by the way. Both sides. Because the Gorn are the Gorn and the Ferengi are known mercenaries. So you would literally have the Federation and the Dominion paying fucking privateers to fight in this battle. You know they would. And so that could be a really interesting way to tell visual stories in the game without having too much like fucking dialogue and exposition, is to have all kinds of ships in the graveyard, in the boneyard, and actually make them interactable and stuff like that, or, you know, in general. It doesn't matter. I'm rambling now, but point is that I consume so much Star Trek as art that it has inspired me to do this thing, and I can't get it out of my head, and that's why I'm doing it. Anyway, moving on. But I mean, I will say this: if Paramount likes my idea and they want to roll with it, I am absolutely 100% on board. We can start anytime. Yes, I know extraction shooters are on the downswing. I don't give a fuck. That's not why I'm making the game, and it's going to be more PvE than PvP. That's another thing that I think the extraction shooter genre is missing, is that it doesn't have enough good PvE, and that most of the games they're all PvP centric, you know, for the heavy sweaters and stuff like that. And there's no real way for rando dudes who have, 3 fucking jobs and 10 wives and 45 kids to sit down and play a game like Tarkov and not feel like they're wasting their time. Right? So if you made more of a more PvE friendly version that was, you know, that was still interesting to navigate, had all the loot systems and guns and all that stuff, but it was, you know, you're fighting pirates and other intel organizations and stuff like that on the ships, and potentially, like, you know, weird alien life forms, because of course I'd have to put that in there. Yeah, so anyway,